In the autumn of 1647, the pyres burned across the northern kingdoms. Grandmother, healer, witch. The names changed, the flames didn't. Every girl learned the lesson young. Hide what you are, bury your gifts, survive by staying invisible. Because the towers watched, and the inquisitors waited. Ravencroft Tower rose from the hilltop like a tombstone. Gray stone, narrow windows, a place where screams died before they reached the outside world, where confessions were extracted, where witches became ash. But sometimes, in the space between confession and condemnation, between captor and captive, between fear and surrender, something impossible happens. This is a story about fire, about the kind that destroys and the kind that transforms, about a woman who healed with her hands and a man who'd spent 10 years burning people like her, about the night she told him everything and the choice he made when dawn came. Some confessions destroy you, others set you free. October, 1647. Rain came from the north, iron nails against canvas, wind tearing at the wagon cover. Isolde Greymark sat in darkness, wrists bound with rope, 20 years old. Golden hair plastered to her face, green eyes staring at nothing. The merchant's son had been dying, fever that wouldn't break, skin gray, breathing shallow. She'd gone to help, just herbs. That's what she told herself. But her hands had glowed, soft gold, like captured sunlight. And the boy had opened his eyes. 3 witnesses, 3 mouths, 1 verdict. Witch. By sunset, church soldiers at her door. Now, 6 hours north, toward Ravencroft Tower, toward the inquisitor they called the unforgiving. She pressed her back against wooden slats, tried not to think about grandmother. Failed, 5 years old, lifted by father to see over the crowd. She'd thought it was a festival. Then she'd seen grandmother tied to the post, seen the torch, heard the screaming. 15 years later, she could still smell the smoke. The wagon stopped. Her heart stopped with it. A soldier yanked the canvas back. Rain poured in, cold, merciless. Out! Isolde stumbled into mud, looked up. Ravencroft Tower rose from the hilltop like a broken tooth. Gray stone, narrow windows, a place built to contain screams. Lightning split the sky. Thunder made her ribs vibrate. The soldier grabbed her arm, dragged her toward the iron door. It opened before they reached it. A man stood in the doorway. No, not a man, a giant. 7 feet of muscle and shadow, broad shoulders filling the frame, dark skin gleaming in lightning flash, hair black as pitch, face too angular to be called handsome. Beautiful. That was the word. Terrifying. That was the other word. His eyes found hers. Black eyes, deep as midnight wells. Isolde forgot to breathe. Bring her inside. His voice low, resonant, the kind that could command armies or seduce saints. The soldier shoved her forward. She stumbled across the threshold, water streaming from her hair, her dress, her bound wrists. The door slammed shut. Final, like a coffin lid, she was alone with him now, the unforgiving, Caspian Ravencroft. He circled her slowly, studying, not like a man studies a woman, like a scholar studies a manuscript. Isolde kept her chin up. Grandmother had taught her that. Show fear to men and they'll devour you. Show strength and they'll pause, even if the strength is pretend. You're younger than I expected. His voice came from behind. She resisted the urge to turn. Prey animals tracked predators. She wasn't prey. The report said you healed a dying child. He moved into view, stopped 3 feet away, close enough to see scars on his hands. Old burns, sword cuts, evidence of violence written on skin. With witchcraft, he tasted the word, testing it. I used herbs, her voice steadier than she felt. Willow bark, feverfew. My grandmother taught me, your grandmother was burned for witchcraft 15 years ago. The words hit like fists. Her breath caught. Of course he knew. Of course he'd researched. Inquisitors built cases, like lawyers, like executioners. She was innocent. The words escaped before she could stop them. He tilted his head. Was she? Yes. Then why did 3 witnesses testify? Why did the village priest swear she'd cursed his crops? Because people are liars. Because they feared what they didn't understand. Because killing a woman is easier than admitting you're wrong. Isolde bit her tongue, said none of it. He stepped closer, 2 feet between them now. She could smell him. Leather, wood smoke, something underneath that made her pulse quicken. I've been watching you. Isolde Greymark. He said her name like a secret. 3 months. Her stomach dropped. 3 months. I've seen you in the forest at midnight. Seen you kneel beside injured animals. Seen the light from your hands. Oh God, if he'd seen that much, if he had proof. I've watched you heal wounds that should have been fatal. Watched you sing to dying flowers until they bloomed. He'd seen everything. She was dead. So here's what I know. His hand came up, slowly, giving her time to flinch. She didn't. Couldn't. His fingers touched her chin, tilted her face up. You have real power, genuine magic. His thumb traced her jawline, and you use it to heal, to help, to ease suffering. His dark eyes held hers, searching. Everything the church says is impossible. Wait, what? Everything I've been taught to believe can't exist. His hand fell away. He stepped back, turned to the narrow window where rain battered glass. Isolde's mind spun. This wasn't how interrogations worked. Was it, why am I here? Her voice barely above a whisper. If you've already decided I'm guilty, why not just burn me? Silence, long, lightning flashed, illuminated his profile, strong jaw, tense shoulders. Because I want to understand you. He turned back. Before I pass judgment. Understand me. I want to know if you're truly the monster the church claims. He moved toward her, slow, deliberate. Or if you're something else entirely. Her heart hammered. And if I'm not a monster, then everything I've believed for 10 years is a lie. The admission hung between them. Raw, honest, dangerous. I don't understand. She shook her head, water droplets flying. You're an inquisitor. You hunt witches. You burn them. Yes. His voice turned bitter. I've sent 43 people to the pyre in 10 years. 43, dear God. Most were innocent, victims of jealousy, superstition, fear. He looked at his scarred hands. I freed those I could, when evidence was weak, when I could justify mercy. He looked up, met her eyes, but some were real practitioners. Twisted things, corrupted by dark powers, using magic to harm, to kill. His jaw tightened. Those I burned without hesitation. Her throat went dry. But you, he stepped close again. You are different. How you have real power more than I've ever sensed. His hand came up, stopped just short of touching her face, hovering. But there's no darkness in you, no corruption. His fingers trembled slightly. You're exactly what the church says can't exist. He dropped his hand, stepped back, crossed to a table, poured dark liquid from a crystal decanter into 2 silver cups, brought one to her. Drink. She stared at the cup, at her bound wrists. He made a low sound, set the cup down, drew a knife. She flinched. Something flickered across his face. Pain. Maybe. I'm not going to hurt you. He knelt, sliced through the rope. The bonds fell away. She rubbed chafed skin, blood flowing back. Painful, necessary. He stood, offered the cup again. This time she took it. Wine. Good. Rich. Warm going down. She hadn't realized how cold she was until warmth spread through her chest. He drank from his own cup, watching her. I have a proposition for you, Isolde Greymark. Here it comes. The trap. The trick. The church will burn you within a week. Your trial is a formality. 3 witnesses, documented healing, clear evidence. He set his cup down. Unless I declare you under my custody for intensive reformation. Her breath caught. Reformation. Officially, you'll be my prisoner, undergoing daily interrogation, religious instruction, penance. He moved closer. Unofficially, you'll be under my protection, safe, free to be what you are. This was insane. What do you want? Sharper than intended. In return, his eyes darkened. Truth, complete truth. I don't. Tell me everything. His voice dropped, intimate, commanding. Your magic, your secrets, your fears, your desires. He was so close now. She could see warmth in his black eyes. Hold nothing back. Hide nothing from me. Her pulse thundered. Give yourself to me completely. Oh God, this wasn't just about magic. And in return, her voice barely worked. I protect you with everything I have, my position, my power, my life if necessary. He reached up, slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. His hand cupped her face. Warm, calloused, gentle. You'll be mine, Isolde Greymark. His thumb traced her cheekbone. And I'll be yours, death or trust, burning or surrender. She looked into his eyes, saw something she hadn't expected. Loneliness, deep as her own, desperate as her own. Why? The question escaped as a whisper. Why would you risk everything for me? His expression softened. Just slightly. Just enough. Because burning you would be burning the last beautiful thing I've seen in 10 years of this work. The words landed like a thunderclap. Her knees went weak. No one had ever called her beautiful before. I need an answer. His voice rough now, strained, before I lose my nerve. This giant, this inquisitor, this man who'd burned 43 people. Nervous. Because of her. She took a shaky breath, thought about burning, thought about 15 more years of hiding. Running, fear, thought about the warmth of his hand on her face. Yes. The word came out broken but clear. Yes, I'll tell you everything. Something blazed in his eyes. Relief, joy, and hunger, all three at once. All? Then come with me. He took her hand, gentle, like she was made of glass. Let me show you where you'll stay. He led her to a door, up a winding stone staircase, footsteps echoing. Up, 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 until they reached a heavy wooden door. He pushed it open. She stepped inside and stopped. This wasn't a cell. This was a chamber, large, warm, fire burning in the hearth, furs piled on a massive bed, windows showing the storm outside. But inside, safe, comfortable, beautiful. This is your room. She turned to face him. Our room. He closed the door. If you'll have me, our room. The implication, clear. Her heart raced. She was a virgin, 20 years old and untouched. By choice, by necessity, by the constant need to stay invisible. And now this man, this impossibly large, impossibly powerful man, wanted her. Her voice failed. He crossed to her, stopped a foot away, close, but not touching. I won't force you. His voice soft. If you want separate quarters, I'll arrange it. If you want me to leave you alone tonight, I will. He swallowed hard. But I'd very much like to stay. She looked up at him. This man who'd watched her for 3 months, who'd seen her magic, seen her truth, and wanted her anyway. I'm afraid. The admission escaped before she could stop it. Of me, of this. She gestured between them, of wanting something I've never let myself want. His expression gentled. What do you want, Isolde? She met his eyes, decided on truth. You. The word barely audible. I want you. Terrifying, liberating, truths. He closed the distance. His hands came up, framed her face. May I kiss you? Permission asked. Not taken. Her breath shuddered. Yes. He lowered his head, slowly, giving her time to change her mind. She didn't. His lips touched hers, soft, tentative, questioning. Her eyes fluttered closed. She'd never been kissed before. Didn't know what to do. But her body knew. Her lips parted. He made a low sound, deep in the kiss. His tongue traced the seam of her mouth, seeking entrance. She opened for him. The invasion sent lightning through her veins. He tasted like wine and dark promises. She kissed him back, clumsy, eager, hungry. His hands slid from her face to her hair, tangled in the wet strands. The kiss grew fiercer, more demanding. Her hands clutched his shoulders, solid muscle, so much strength, and all of it controlled, restrained, gentle. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers. God, Isolde! His voice wrecked. You're going to undo me completely. She couldn't speak, couldn't think, could only feel. his hands on her, his breath mixing with hers, two hearts trying to find the same rhythm. I need to know. He pulled back enough to meet her eyes. Have you ever? No. She cut him off, saving him from asking. Never. His pupils dilated. Never. I've been alone since I was 12. Since father? She swallowed. Since father realized what I was and threw me out. Pain flickered across his face. 12 years old. I survived. She lifted her chin. I learned to hide, to stay invisible, to never get close to anyone. Until now. Until now. His hands trembled as they cupped her face again. I'll be gentle. A promise. A vow. I'll go slow. Make sure you are ready. Was she ready? She'd spent 15 years running from this, from connection, from vulnerability. But he had already seen her magic, her truth, her soul, and he still wanted her. I'm ready, stronger than she felt. I'm terrified, but I'm ready. He smiled, the first real smile she'd seen from him. It transformed his face, made him almost boyish. Almost. Being terrified is honest. He pressed a kiss to her forehead. I'm terrified too. She couldn't imagine this giant afraid of anything. He paused, struggled with the words. I've been with women before, but I've never wanted to be gentle, never cared if it was good for them. His thumb traced her lower lip. With you, I want everything to be perfect. The admission undid something in her chest. It doesn't have to be perfect. She touched his face, traced his jaw. It just has to be honest. His eyes blazed. Then let me be honest. He lifted her, easily, like she weighed nothing, carried her to the bed, laid her down on soft furs, stood looking down at her. You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Her breath caught. He knelt beside the bed, brought his face level with hers. I'm going to touch you now. His voice low, rough. Tell me if you want me to stop. She nodded. His hands found the laces of her dress, wet, clinging. He unlaced them slowly, watching her face for any sign of fear. The dress fell open. Beneath, her shift, thin linen, almost transparent where rain had soaked through. His breathing changed, deeper, harder, but his hands stayed gentle as he peeled the wet fabric away. She lay bare before him, exposed, vulnerable. His eyes traveled over her, slow, reverent, perfect. The word barely more than breath. He stood, began removing his own clothing, the black coat, the leather vest, the shirt beneath. Each piece revealed more scarred skin, more evidence of violence survived, but also muscle, power, strength. When he unlaced his breeches, her eyes widened. He was proportional to his height. Oh God. Isolde, his voice gentle. Breathe. She realized she'd stopped breathing, forced air into her lungs. I'm not going to hurt you. He climbed onto the bed beside her, I promise. His hand touched her shoulder, slid down her arm, learning the shape of her. Tell me what you're feeling. Afraid, the honesty escaped, but wanting anyway. Good. His hand traced patterns on her skin. Fear and want, both are honest. His lips found the pulse point at her throat, kissed, gentle. She arched into the touch. Tell me. His voice muffled against her skin. While I'm learning you. What do you want me to say? Everything. His mouth moved lower, to her collarbone. Every sensation, every thought. His hand cupped her breast, thumb circling. She gasped. That, he murmured. Tell me that. It feels... Words failed, like lightning. Where everywhere. His mouth closed over her nipple. She cried out, pleasure sharp enough to hurt. His hand slid lower, over her ribs, her stomach, the curve of her hip. May I? He paused at the juncture of her thighs. Yes. The word came out broken. His fingers found her. Gentle, exploratory, learning what made her gasp, what made her moan. So wet, satisfaction in his voice. Your body knows what it wants. He circled, teased, built sensation layer by layer. Her hips moved without permission, seeking more. That's it, he encouraged. Take what you need. His finger slid inside her, her back arched off the bed. The intrusion, foreign but not unwelcome. He worked her carefully, adding a second finger when her body relaxed. The stretch burned slightly, but his thumb kept circling, pleasure eclipsing discomfort. I'm going to make you ready. His voice rough now, strained. Before I take you. His fingers curled inside her, hit something that made stars explode behind her eyelids. She screamed. Pleasure crashed over her in waves, her body convulsing around his fingers. He worked her through it, gentle, but not stopping until the last tremor faded, when she could breathe again, could think again. She looked up at him, his eyes blazed, hungry but patient. Now, she asked, voice wrecked. Now. He positioned himself between her thighs. Look at me. Isolde. Stay with me. She met his eyes. He pushed forward. Just the tip. The stretch immediate. Intense. She whimpered. Breathe. He held completely still. Just breathe. She forced herself to relax. To breathe through the burning stretch. Gradually. Incrementally. Her body began to yield. He pushed forward another inch, then another, moving so slowly, trembling with restraint. That's it, he praised, taking me so well. The praise made something warm bloom in her chest, helped distract from the overwhelming fullness. When he was halfway seated, he paused. Okay, his voice strained. More. She surprised herself. I want all of you. He groaned, pushed forward with more confidence. Her body opened, welcomed him, until he was fully seated inside her. She gasped, the sensation overwhelming. Too much, not enough, everything. God. His whole body shook. You feel like heaven. He held still, giving her time to adjust. Slowly, the burning transformed, became something else, something that made her hips lift, seeking friction. Please, she begged. Move. He withdrew slowly, pushed back in, set a careful rhythm, each stroke building pleasure. Her hands clutched his shoulders, nails digging in. Tell me, he commanded, voice rough. Tell me how it feels. Like dying, she gasped, like being reborn. More, like I've been waiting my whole life for this, for you. His rhythm faltered. Say it again. For you. Tears leaked from her eyes. I've been waiting for you. He kissed her, deep, claiming. His pace increased, careful, but no longer gentle. She met him thrust for thrust, body learning the rhythm. Pleasure built, higher, higher, until she shattered again, screaming his name, her inner muscles clenching around him. He groaned, buried himself deep, pulsed inside her. They collapsed together, hearts racing, breath mingling outside. The storm raged inside. They'd created their own. Dawn crept through the windows. Gray light. Rain still falling, but softer now. Isolde woke tangled in Caspian's arms. His massive body curled protectively around hers. She'd never felt safer, which was insane. This man was an inquisitor, her captor, the one who held her life in his scarred hands, but somehow he'd become her sanctuary. He stirred, eyes opening, finding hers immediately. Good morning, his voice sleep rough. Good morning. They stared at each other, the enormity of last night settling between them. Regrets, he asked quietly. She thought about it honest. No, she touched his face. Terrified, but no regrets. He smiled, kissed her palm. We should talk about what happens next. What does happen next? He sat up, drew her with him, keeping her close. Officially, you're my prisoner, undergoing reformation. He traced patterns on her shoulder. Every morning, I'll conduct interrogations, ask you about your magic, your practices, your beliefs. And really, I want to learn, I want to understand your gift. His hands slid to her hair, tangled and wild. I've felt magic in my own blood my whole life, suppressed it, denied it, feared it. He met her eyes. Maybe you can teach me to stop being afraid. Hope bloomed in her chest. I can try. In the afternoons, I'll teach you to read and write. My library is yours. I can't read. The admission embarrassed her. You will. He kissed her forehead. You're brilliant. It won't take long. And the nights, his eyes darkened. The nights are ours. Ours. The words settled warm in her chest. What about your superior? This magistrate Aldrich, His expression hardened. He'll come to inspect eventually. When he does, we'll have to perform. Perform. You'll need to look broken, repentant. I'll need to look severe. His jaw clenched. It won't be pleasant. She understood. They'd have to pretend, deceive, survive. I can do that. Can you, he studied her face. Can you pretend to fear me when I've just made love to me? She finished. Yes, I'm good at pretending, Caspian. She'd spent 15 years pretending. One more performance wouldn't kill her, probably. The days fell into rhythm, mornings, interrogation. Caspian would ask about her magic, how it worked, what it felt like. Isolde would answer honestly, demonstrating small things, making candles flare, encouraging seedlings to sprout, healing cuts on his scarred hands. He watched, fascinated, taking notes, trying to sense the energy she described. Here, she'd take his hand, feel the life in the plant. He'd close his eyes, concentrate. Sometimes, barely, he could sense it, a flicker, a pulse. It's there, she encouraged. You just need practice. His joy when he managed to make a candle flame dance, childlike, beautiful. Afternoons, witty lessons. Isolde proved a quick study. Within days, she recognized basic words. Within a week, simple sentences. Caspian would sit beside her, patient, praising every success. She devoured books like a starving woman devoured bread. Philosophy, history, even forbidden texts on magical theory. You're brilliant, he'd say, watching her read. I'm just curious. No, you're brilliant. The praise warmed her, made her believe it might be true. Evenings, they'd walk the tower grounds, talk about everything, nothing, their childhoods, their fears, their dreams. Caspian told her about his mother, dead in childbirth. His father, a church official, cold, strict, raising him to hunt the very thing his mother had been. Did he know about her magic? I think so. His voice bitter. I think he married her to prove loyalty, then destroyed anything that reminded him of her, including his son's magic. Isolde told him about her father, how he'd loved her until he had seen her heal a bird, then a terror in his eyes, calling her abomination, throwing her out. I was 12, didn't know how to survive. How did you? Grandmother's friends, hidden network of healers. They taught me, kept me safe, until one by one they'd been found, burned. Now she was the last. He pulled her close. Not anymore. You have me. Nights, they learned each other's bodies, slowly, thoroughly. He teaching her what pleasure could be. She teaching him what tenderness meant. Each time better than the last, each time. Driving them deeper into this impossible love. On the fifth night, tangled together after. Isolde traced scars on his chest. Tell me about this one. Demon cult, northern province, they were using blood magic. In this sword fight, the father of a girl I'd accused, he was right, she was innocent. Pain in his voice. I freed her, but he died trying to protect her from me. She kissed the scar. You carry your regrets. Don't you every day? They held each other, two damaged people, finding wholeness. On the 10th night, she woke to him staring at her. What? I'm memorizing you. His voice soft. In case this ends badly. It won't. You don't know that. I know you won't let anyone hurt me. He pulled her closer. I'll burn the world first. She believed him. On the 13th day, a letter arrived. Caspian read it, expression hardening. Aldrich, he's coming day after tomorrow. The words landed like stones. Their time was up. Then we prepare. She kept her voice steady. They spent that night planning, rehearsing, how she'd act, how he'd act, what they'd say, how to make it convincing. I'll have to chain you again. His voice rough. Make it look real. I know. I'll have to be cold, harsh. I know. If he asked me to hit you, then you hit me. She cut him off, not hard, but real enough. I can't. You have to. She took his face in her hands. We both do what we must to survive. That night, they made love like it was the last time. Desperate, tender, perfect. Afterward, lying in his arms, she whispered, "Whatever happens tomorrow, know that I love you. I love you too." He kissed her hair, more than life. They fell asleep tangled together. 2 weeks, 14 days, long enough to fall in love. Long enough to build something worth protecting. Now they'd have to fight to keep it. Week 3, pounding on the tower door woke her. 3 in the morning, rain against windows, darkness thick as wool. Caspian was already moving, pulling on breeches, grabbing his sword. "Stay here," his voice low, commanding. "But stay here." He disappeared down the stairs. She sat up, listening, heart hammering, voices below, a woman, crying, begging. Desperation needed no translation. Footsteps on the stairs. He returned, face grim. "There's a woman. Her daughter is dying." She was already out of bed. How old? 6, fever, convulsions. The village healers tried everything. He caught her arm. "It's dangerous. If anyone sees, then we make sure no one sees." She pulled a shift over her head. "I'm not letting a child die." He studied her face. Knew arguing was pointless. "I'll bring them up the back stairs. Fenric will stand watch." Fenric, the guard captain, loyal, discreet, useful. 10 minutes later, a woman stumbled into their chambers, carrying a small bundle. The girl, barely breathing, skin gray, eyes rolled back. Isolde's heart clenched. "Put her on the bed." The mother obeyed, hands shaking. Isolde knelt beside the child, placed her hands on the fevered forehead, closed her eyes, reached for her magic. It came like a flood, golden light pouring from her palms. She sensed the infection, deep in the lungs, aggressive, deadly. Poured herself into the healing, burning out the sickness, knitting damaged tissue, breathing life back into dying cells. The girl gasped, eyes flew open, color returned to her cheeks. The mother sobbed, "Thank you, oh God, thank you." Isolde swayed, the room tilting. Caspian caught her, steady, solid. "Easy, I've got you." He helped the woman and child down the back stairs, gave them coin, made them swear silence. When he returned, she was sitting on the floor, too dizzy to stand. "You gave too much." He lifted her, carried her to bed. She was dying. "So were you, almost." His jaw tight. "You can't drain yourself like that." "I'll be fine by morning." That's not the point. But it was the point, exactly the point. This was what she did, who she was. He seemed to understand, his anger fading to resignation. He held her while she shook, exhaustion crashing over her. "Sleep," he murmured. "I'll keep watch." She slept and woke to sunlight, feeling hollow but alive. Worth it. Always worth it. The woman told someone, of course she did. How could she not? Her daughter had been dying, now lived. Miracle. Magic. Witch. Word spread. Carefully, quietly. But it spread. Within a week. Another knock at midnight, a man, his wife bleeding after childbirth. Midwife couldn't stop it. Isolde went, healed, saved both mother and infant. Another week, a boy with a crushed hand, cart accident, would lose it without magic. Isolde regrew bone, reconnected tendons. The boy kept his hand. And the network began to grow. Those she saved, told those they trusted, who told others they trusted. A web, delicate, dangerous, but strong. Caspian screened every request. Only the desperate, only the dying, only those who understood the cost of discovery. Captain Fenric became their gatekeeper. His wife had been one of Isolde's first saves. Before the tower, before Caspian, a fever that should have killed her. Isolde's magic hadn't. Now Fenric owed her everything. He stood watch during midnight healings, smuggled patients through back passages, kept the other guards away. My life for hers, he'd sworn to Caspian. Always. By the end of month 2, Isolde had healed 19 people, saved 14 lives outright, restored 5 to health after illness, and every time, gave pieces of herself, came back to Caspian hollow, shaking, drained. He'd hold her, warm her, feed her, pour himself back into the empty spaces. You're going to burn out, he warned. Then I burned bright first. He couldn't argue with that, didn't try. just loved her harder, held her closer, tried to be enough to refill what she gave away. Month 2, day 7. The letter arrived at dawn. He read it, face draining of color. "What?" she asked, though she already knew. "Aldrich, he's coming. When Bodya, today, arrives by noon. 4 hours. 4 hours to transform their sanctuary into a prison. They moved fast. She changed into a rough dress, unwashed, torn at the hem. He mussed her hair, smudged dirt on her face, used makeup to create bruises, yellow-green on her cheek, purple on her wrist. Does it look real?" She studied herself in the mirror. Too real. His voice rough. They cleared the chambers of any sign she lived there. Books, clean clothes, evidence of comfort. Made it stark, cold, punishing. The workroom, locked, hidden. The library, off limits. Everything that made this place livable. Gone. By the time hooves sounded outside, she barely recognized her reflection. Broken, defeated, repentant, perfect. He chained her wrists, the iron cold against her skin. "Remember," his voice low, for her ears only. "Nothing they see is real." "I know. I love you. I love you too." He led her down to the interrogation chamber, the one they hadn't used since that first night. Cold stone, chains hanging from walls, table with instruments, not torture devices, just the threat of them. Enough. He positioned her in the center, secured her chains, stepped back, his face transformed. The lover disappeared. The inquisitor remained. Cold, hard, merciless. Her breath caught, even knowing it was performance. The change terrified her. Footsteps outside. The door opened. Magistrate Aldrich entered, and she understood why Caspian feared him. The man radiated authority. Gray-bearded, 60, maybe older. Eyes like winter ice. He'd burned people, hundreds of people, and felt nothing. 2 junior inquisitors followed, young, eager, hungry to prove themselves. And a scribe, to document everything. Perfect. Witnesses to her reformation, or her condemnation. Aldrich circled her, studying. "This is the Greymark witch." "Yes, magistrate." Caspian's voice formal, empty of emotion. "She looks half dead already. Strict penance, limited food, constant interrogation." "Good." Aldrich stopped in front of her. "Look at me, girl." She lifted her eyes, meek, frightened, not hard to fake. "Do you renounce your witchcraft?" "Yes, magistrate." Her voice small, broken. "I see now I was deceived." "Deceived by whom?" "The devil, sir. I thought I was helping, but I served evil." The words tasted like ash, but she spoke them clearly. His eyes narrowed. "Your contrition seems convenient." "I swear, sir, I'm grateful for Inquisitor Ravencroft's mercy." "Are you?" Flat, disbelieving, he turned to Caspian. "Show me your methods." "No, please no." But Caspian's face remained impassive. "Of course, magistrate." He crossed to the table, selected a leather strap, not the worst instrument there, but bad enough, returned to her. "Tell me your sins." His voice cold. "Command." This was the performance. This was the price. "I used witchcraft to heal the merchant's son." She kept her voice steady. "And I've practiced forbidden magic since childhood." "What else?" She hesitated, deliberate, making it look like she was hiding something, his hand tightening on the strap. "What else?" I don't." The strap cracked across her shoulders. She screamed, not from pain, though it stung, from shock, from the reality of Caspian hitting her, even knowing it was necessary, even preparing for it. The reality broke something. "Confess," his voice hard. The junior inquisitors leaned forward, eager. Aldrich watched, impassive. "I healed animals," she sobbed. "In the forest I made plants grow." Another strike, across her back. This one harder, tears streaming now, real tears. "I'm sorry," she gasped. "I'm so sorry." He grabbed her chin, forced her to look at him. His eyes, for just a second, filled with anguish, then empty again. "You will learn obedience." Each word precise, cold. He released her, Step back. She's broken well. Aldrich nodded approval. Marvel. Continue this regimen. Daily. Yes, magistrate. I want weekly reports on her progress. Of course, Aldrich moved to the door, paused. Good work, Caspian. Your father would be proud. The words landed like stones, then he was gone. Junior inquisitors and scribe following. The door closed. Silence. Caspian stood frozen, strap still in hand, then dropped it. Like it burned, crossed to her, hands shaking as he unlocked her chains. I'm sorry, his voice breaking. God, Isolde, I'm so sorry. She couldn't speak. The marks on her back throbbed, but worse, much worse, the look in his eyes when he'd hit her. Empty, like she was nothing, even knowing it was fake. Her body didn't know. Her heart didn't know. Isolde, please, say something. She pulled away from his touch. I need a moment. Let me see your back. Don't touch me. The words escaped sharp, cutting. He flinched, like she'd struck him. I'll be in my study, if you need me. He left. She stood alone in the interrogation chamber, shaking. She didn't go to their chambers that night. Slept in a small room on the 3rd floor. Alone, he sat outside her door. She could hear him, breathing, waiting. She didn't open the door. Morning came. She stayed inside. He knocked, gentle. Isolde, please, let me see you. Silence. I know I hurt you. I know, but please, let me make it right. How could he make it right? How could she forget the emptiness in his eyes? I need time, her voice rough from crying. How much time? I don't know. She heard him lean against the door, slide down to sit. I'll wait, as long as you need. Day 2, she emerged, to eat, to wash, avoided looking at him. He tried to approach. She walked away, saw the pain in his face, couldn't bring herself to care. Day 3, the marks on her back fading, but the marks on her heart deeper. He caught her in the hallway. Please, Isolde, talk to me. What do you want me to say? That you understand, that you know I had no choice. I understand, her voice flat, but understanding doesn't make it hurt less. I would never hurt you by choice, I know. Then why won't you let me near you? The question hung between them. Why? Because her body remembered fear, even when her mind knew truth. Because some betrayals lived in muscle memory, not logic. Because she'd felt alone her whole life, and for 2 months, hadn't been. And that taste of safety made the loss sharper. I need you to hold me. The admission broke from her, and I can't let you. Understanding dawned in his eyes. Your body doesn't trust mine anymore. Yes. His face crumpled. How do I fix this? I don't know if you can. Day 4. She woke crying from a nightmare she couldn't remember. Stumbled into the hallway, found him asleep on the floor, outside her door. He'd been there every night, waiting. Something broke in her chest. She knelt beside him, touched his shoulder. He woke instantly. Isolde. I had a nightmare, her voice small. He sat up, careful not to touch her without permission. Do you want to talk about it? I don't remember it, just the fear. They sat in silence. Then she leaned against him, just slightly. He went very still, barely breathing. I know it wasn't you, she whispered. The man who hit me. It was me. I can't pretend it wasn't. The man I love wouldn't hurt me. The man you love did hurt you, to save your life. Truth, complicated, painful, true. I hate this. Tears sliding down her face. I hate that they have this power over us. I know. I hate that we have to perform, pretend, lie. I know, but I don't hate you. His breath shuddered. No, I hate the situation, the church, Aldrich, all of it. She turned to face him. But I love you, and I need you to hold me. Are you sure? No, but do it anyway. He wrapped his arms around her, gentle, like she might shatter. She buried her face in his chest, let herself break, sobbed for everything, the fear, the performance, the marks on her back that had faded, the marks on her heart that hadn't. He held her through it, murmuring wordless comfort. When the tears finally stopped, she felt emptied, but lighter. Can we go back? She asked, voice hoarse. To our chambers. To before, when it was just us. I don't know. Honest. But we can try. They stood, went to their chambers, climbed into bed, held each other. No passion, just presence. Two damaged people, trying to find their way back. It took days, small steps, his hand on her shoulder, her accepting it, a kiss to her forehead, her leaning into it. Slowly, slowly, trust rebuilt, different than before, sadder, more fragile, but real. And on day 7, when he reached for her in the night, she reached back. They made love like people returning from war. Desperate, tender, grateful to be alive. Afterward, tangled. I swear to you, his voice fierce, never again. Even if Aldrich comes back, I'll find another way. You can't promise that. I can, and I do. He tilted her face up. I'd rather burn than hurt you again. She believed him, and that belief, dangerous as it was, healed something. Month 4, day 12. She woke and immediately ran for the chamber pot, vomited, violent, retching. He held her hair, concerned. Too much wine last night. I had 1 cup. She retched again. When her stomach was empty, she sat back, shaking. This is the 3rd morning, his voice careful. I know. And your breasts, they're tender. You flinched when I touched them last night. She met his eyes, understanding passing between them. No, she breathed. It's not possible. Isn't it? They'd been careful, mostly, but not always. Not that first desperate night. Not the nights after Aldrich, when they'd needed each other too badly to think. I need Brenna. She stood, wobbled. He steadied her. I'll send for her. Brenna arrived that evening, the hedge healer, 63, sharp-eyed, discreet. She examined Isolde in private, pressed her stomach, asked questions about her cycle. Finally, nodded. 8 weeks, maybe 9. 8 weeks, dear God. You're certain, her voice thin, as certain as I can be without magic to check. She closed her eyes, reached for her own magic, turned it inward, and felt it. A tiny spark. Not her life force, someone else's, someone new, growing inside her. Oh God. She sat down hard. Brenna patted her shoulder. Congratulations, or condolences, depending on the situation. I need to tell Caspian. I'll leave you to it. Brenna gathered her supplies. I'll come back next month. Check on you both. She left. Isolde sat, trying to process. A baby. She was carrying his baby. The door opened. He entered, face tight with worry. Well, she looked up at him. I'm pregnant. The words hung in the air. He froze. You're what? 8 weeks, maybe 9. He crossed to her, knelt, hands hovering over her stomach. May I? She nodded, his palm pressed against her still flat belly. There's a child inside you. Yes. Our child. Yes. His face transformed. Boy, wonder, terror, all at once. We made a life, his voice awed. We did. He looked up, met her eyes. How do you feel? Terrified. Me too. They stared at each other. Then, simultaneously, smiled, terrified, but not alone. He pulled her into his arms, careful, like she was made of glass. A baby. He breathed against her hair. We're having a baby. She laughed, half hysterical. What are we going to do? Protect you, both of you. Fierce, certain. Aldrich, the church, if they find out, they won't. You can't know that. Then we make sure. He pulled back, framed her face. We hide it. You'll say you're ill. Stay in the tower. No one sees you. For how long? I'll start showing in a few months. Then we have a few months to figure this out. Not a plan, but something. That night, lying in bed, his hand on her stomach. What do you hope for? He asked. Boy or girl, alive. She covered his hand with hers. I just want alive. Me too. They fell asleep like that. 2 people, soon to be 3, terrified, in love. Hiding the pregnancy proved easier than expected. Week 12, she declared gravely ill, confined to the tower. No visitors except Brenna. For treatment. The story spread. The witch was failing, the reformation too harsh. She might not survive. Perfect. Meanwhile, She bloomed. Morning sickness faded by week 14. Her appetite returned, ravenous. He fed her constantly. Everything she craved. You're going to spoil me. That's the idea. Week 16, her belly started to curve, small but visible. He became obsessed with it, hands constantly on her stomach, talking to the baby. Hello in there, this is your father. She laughed. It can't hear you yet. You don't know that. Week 20, first kicks. She gasped, grabbed his hand, pressed it to her belly. There, feel that. He went very still, concentrating. Then, a flutter against his palm, his eyes widened. That's the baby. That's our baby. He dropped to his knees, pressed his face against her stomach. Hello, little one. I'm your papa. She ran her fingers through his hair, throat tight. This man, this giant, dangerous, lethal, brought to his knees by new life. Beautiful, week 24. The network continued growing. Those she had saved formed a web of loyalty, 15 people who knew the truth, 20 who suspected, 30 who'd been helped in some way. All of them, silent, protective. Captain Fenric drilled them. If the magistrate returns, you say nothing. You've seen nothing. We're not soldiers, a farmer protested. Then you'll die like civilians. Fenric's voice hard. Is that what you want? Silence, fam. The witch saved your lives, your families, your children. He looked at each face. Now we save hers. Week 30, Caspian became insufferable. Reading every midwifery text in his library, practicing emergency procedures. What if the baby comes breech? Brenna will be here, her patience wearing thin. What if Brenna can't make it? Then you deliver our child. I've never delivered a baby. You've read 17 books. You'll figure it out. He didn't look convinced. Week 36, she could barely move. Her belly massive, the baby active, kicking, turning, preparing. She spent days in bed, reading, resting. He wouldn't let her do anything. I can walk to the window. You could fall. I won't fall. I'll carry you. Caspian, humor me. She humored him because honestly, her feet hurt, her back ached, and being carried, pampered, loved, not terrible. Month 9, day 3, evening. She felt different, a tightness in her belly, not painful, just present. Something's wrong, she told him. He paled. Wrong how? Not wrong, just different. Another tightness, stronger. Oh no. I think it's starting. His eyes went wide. Starting, as in labor, yes. He moved fast, sent Fenric for Brenna, helped her to bed, began laying out supplies, clean linens, hot water, knives, thread, everything the text said they'd need. Another contraction, stronger, making her gasp. How far apart? His voice steady, controlled. The Inquisitor returning, calm in crisis. Maybe 10 minutes. Good, that's good. We have time. Brenna would arrive soon. Everything would be fine. Another contraction, then another, closer together. 7 minutes. 5, 3. This was happening fast, too fast. Where was Brenna? Her water broke, gushing, warm. Caspian, fear creeping in. I'm here. I've got you. Another contraction. Brutal. She screamed. That's it. Don't hold back. Hour 1. Contractions, constant. No break. No rest. Pain. Relentless. Hour 2. Brenna still not here. Where is she? She gasped between contractions. Fenric went himself. She'll come. Hour 3. She wanted Dinma, wanted this to end, wanted the baby out. I can't do this. You can. You're the strongest person I know. I'm not strong. I'm dying. You're not dying. You're bringing life. Hour 4. Dawn approaching. Gray light through windows. And hoofbeats outside. He went rigid. Stay here. Where would I go? She panted. I'm in labor. He kissed her forehead. Rushed downstairs. She heard voices. Then footsteps. Running. The door burst open. Not Brenna. Fenric. Face white. My lady, the magistrate. He's returned. No, 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 no. How long until he's here? Caspian's voice deadly calm. Dawn, maybe an hour. 1 hour, until Aldrich arrived, found her, in labor, with Caspian's child, found the evidence of their betrayal, found the reason to burn them both. Brenna burst through the door 30 minutes later, took one look, started issuing orders. Hot water, more linens, and you, she pointed at Caspian. Behind her, support her back. He obeyed instantly, positioned himself, let her lean against his chest. Brenna examined, nodded. Baby's crowning, few more pushes. How long, he asked. Could be minutes, could be an hour. They didn't have an hour. Outside, hoofbeats approaching, multiple horses. Aldrich. Push, Brenna commanded. Now, hard as you can. She bore down, screaming, nothing. Again, another push, another scream. Still nothing. Voices outside, the tower door opening, footsteps on stairs. One more, Brenna's voice urgent. Give me everything. She pushed, with everything she had, everything she was, and the baby's head emerged. Good. Stop. Don't push. Brenna worked fast, clearing the mouth, the nose. One more. Shoulders. She pushed. The baby slid free, into Brenna's waiting hands. Silent. Too silent. Brenna turned the infant, rubbed vigorously. Nothing. His heart stopped. Then, a wail, thin, reedy, beautiful. The baby cried, loud, furious, alive. A girl, Brenna announced, placed the infant on Isolde's chest, tiny, perfect, covered in blood and vernix, eyes opening, deep dark blue, already glowing faintly. Magic, from birth, powerful. She sobbed, touching her daughter's face. Hello, hello, little one. He wrapped his arms around both of them, his family, whole, real, here, for one perfect moment. The world was right. Then, the door slammed open. Magistrate Aldrich stood in the doorway, flanked by 5 junior inquisitors, 20 guards behind them. His face, shock, betrayal, rage, all cycling through in seconds. What? His voice deadly quiet. Is this? Caspian stood, placed himself between Aldrich and his family, hand on his sword. My wife, he said clearly. My daughter. Your wife, Aldrich's voice rose. The witch is your wife. Yes. You fathered a child with an abomination. I fathered a child with the woman I love. Aldrich's face purpled. I raised you, trained you, loved you like a son, his hand trembling on his own sword. And this is how you repay me, by betraying everything we stand for. I betrayed nothing. Caspian's voice steady. I found something worth protecting. Worth protecting? Aldrich stepping forward. She's a witch. That child is corruption given form. Behind Caspian, Isolde clutched Leora, the baby still crying. Brenna stood beside them. Old, frail, but defiant. That child, Caspian's voice dropped, dangerous, is my blood, my daughter. He drew a sword. You'll have to kill me to touch her. The junior inquisitors drew weapons. Guards shifted, uncertain. This wasn't witch hunting. This was something else. Aldrich stared at Caspian, the boy he'd raised, the man he'd trained, now standing against him. If that's what it takes, Aldrich's voice broke. So be it. He drew his sword. The standoff held. Caspian and Aldrich, swords raised, teacher and student, father figure and son, about to kill each other. Magistrate, one of the junior inquisitors, young, nervous. Perhaps we should... Silence, Aldrich snapped, his eyes never leaving Caspian's. You think you can beat me? Boy, I don't want to beat you. Caspian's grip steady. I want you to leave. Let us go. Can't do that? Then we fight. Then you die. Behind Caspian, Isolde's voice, weak but clear. If you burn us, burn me first. Both men turned. She'd sat up, still holding Leora, blood-soaked, exhausted but fierce. I'm the witch. He's innocent. He's a traitor. Aldrich's voice harsh. He's a man who chose love over hate. She met his eyes. Is that so wrong? When the object of that love is evil, yes. Look at this child. She lifted Leora slightly. Hours old. Innocent. Does she look evil to you? Aldrich's gaze flickered to the baby. Tiny, squirming, crying, human. She'll grow into her corruption. Or she'll grow into her father's goodness. Isolde's voice strong now. You raised him. You know what he is? I thought I did. You do. Caspian lowered his sword slightly. Everything you taught me about justice, about mercy, about protecting the innocent. He gestured to Isolde and Leora. She's innocent. Our daughter's innocent. And I won't let you kill them. Aldrich's sword wavered, just slightly. How many people have I judged in 10 years? Caspian pressed. Hundreds. And how many did I free? Most of them. Aldrich's voice grudging. Because they were innocent. And you trusted my judgment. This is different. What? Because you can't admit you might be wrong about magic. The words landed hard. Aldrich flinched. Outside, sounds of commotion. Voices. Many voices. Fenric appeared in the doorway, out of breath. Sir, there's a problem. What problem? Aldrich demanded. There are people. Outside. A lot of people. How many? 60? Maybe more. Aldrich's face hardened. Disperse them. They won't leave. Sir, they say they're here to protect the witch. Silence. Then Aldrich pushed past, strode to the window, looked down, and stopped. The courtyard below, packed with people. Farmers, craftsmen, merchants, women, men, even children. All armed with whatever they could find. Scythes, hammers, kitchen knives, walking sticks. Not soldiers, but determined. What is this? Aldrich turned to Caspian. People she saved. Caspian joined him at the window. People I showed mercy to. You built a rebellion. We built a community. Below, a woman stepped forward, young, holding a child. She called up. My daughter was dying. The witch saved her. Another voice, male, older. My wife, bleeding after childbirth. Your witch healed her. More voices. My son. My father. My sister. Me. Story after story. Life after life. Saved by Isolde's magic. Protected by Caspian's mercy. One of Aldrich's own guards stepped forward. Removed his helmet. My sister is in that crowd. Magistrate. The witch healed her fever. He set his sword down. I won't arrest her. Another guard. My nephew. She saved him from a crushed leg. Sword down. A third. My mother, she would have died without the witch's magic. Sword down. Half the guards, disarming. Stepping back. Choosing mercy over duty. Aldrich stared, speechless. The world he knew. Crumbling. You did this. He turned to Caspian, voice hollow. You turned my own men against me. I didn't turn anyone. Caspian's voice gentle. I just showed them there was another way. There is no other way. Magic is evil. The church burned my mother. The words fell like stones. Aldrich froze. What? 32 years ago, you were there. You helped build the pyre. Caspian's voice steady, but pain underneath. Her name was Elena Ravencroft. She healed the sick, grew food in winter, helped women birth safely. He stepped closer to Aldrich. And you burned her, because she was different. Aldrich's face drained of color. Elena, that was your mother. Yes. I didn't know. Your father never. My father was ashamed of what she was, what I might be. Caspian's hand moved to his chest. I have magic too, in my blood. Always have. Shock on Aldrich's face. That's impossible. You're an inquisitor. I'm a man who suppressed his nature because I was taught to fear it. He looked at Isolde, at Leora. Until I met someone who showed me magic isn't evil. It's what you do with it that matters. He turned back to Aldrich. You raised me to seek truth, to protect innocence, to serve justice, his voice broke. So I'm asking you, as the man who was more father to me than my own. He extended his hand. Choose truth, choose justice, choose mercy. Aldrich stared at the offered hand, the weight of 32 years pressing down, thousands of interrogations, hundreds of burnings, all done in the name of righteousness. What if he'd been wrong about all of it? He looked at the baby, Leora, hours old, glowing faintly with magic, but otherwise, just a baby, innocent, human, alive. I've spent 3 decades, his voice barely audible, hunting people like you. I know. Burning them, telling myself it was God's will. I know. What if, Aldrich's voice cracked, what if they were all like her, like your mother? Some were, Caspian said gently. Some weren't, but most. Most were just afraid people trying to survive. Aldrich's hands shook, reached out, almost touched Caspian's. Then an arrow whistled through the window, struck the wall behind them. Everyone spun. One of the junior inquisitors stood, bow raised, young, fanatic, eyes blazing. Traitors, all of you. He knocked another arrow, aimed at Isolde, at the baby. Caspian moved, but Aldrich moved faster, stepped in front of the arrow's path. Stand down, his voice commanded. No, sir, they're corrupting you. I said, stand down. The junior inquisitor's face twisted. You're one of them now, a traitor. He released. The arrow flew. Aldrich didn't move. Caspian tried to reach him. Too late. The arrow hit, but not Aldrich's chest. His arm. He'd moved at the last second, taking a wound instead of death. Blood bloomed. Aldrich grabbed the junior inquisitor's bow, snapped it. You are dismissed from service permanently. But sir, get out, the roar echoed. The junior inquisitor fled. The other young inquisitors hesitated, then followed. Running, leaving Aldrich, bleeding, standing. The remaining guards looked uncertain. Aldrich turned to them. Anyone else want to defy my orders? Silence. I thought not. Leave us. They obeyed, filing out, until only Fenric remained. Stay, Aldrich said. Bear witness. To what? Aldrich moved to the bed, where Isolde sat. Holding Leora, knelt, slowly, stiffly, an old man's knees protesting. Isolde Greymark, his voice formal. You have been accused of witchcraft. Her breath caught. Here it was, the condemnation. And after thorough investigation, I find the charges accurate. Her heart sank. You possess genuine magical power. Aldrich looked at Leora, as does your daughter. He looked up, met Isolde's eyes. And I also find that you have used this power solely for healing, for helping, for easing suffering. His voice softened. Therefore, I declare you reformed, remanded permanently to Inquisitor Ravencroft's custody. He pulled a document from his coat, signed it. For ongoing spiritual guidance and observation. He handed it to Caspian. Case closed. Caspian stared at the paper. You're letting us go. I'm ensuring you're supervised by someone I trust. Aldrich's mouth quirked. Someone who won't burn an innocent woman and child. He stood, winced. The arrow wound, bleeding steadily. This stays between us. Officially. You're still my prisoner. Unofficially. He looked at Leora. You have a family to protect. Isolde's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, magistrate. Don't thank me yet. Aldrich's voice turned grim. The church won't be pleased. I'll need to. Navigate carefully. What will you tell them? Caspian asked. The truth, mostly. Aldrich allowed a small smile. That intensive reformation requires time, that I'm monitoring the situation closely. He moved toward the door, paused. 32 years I've served, never questioned, never doubted. He looked back at them. Perhaps it's time I started. Then he was gone, leaving Caspian, Isolde, Leora, and Brenna, stunned, alive, free. Brenna broke the silence. Well, that was dramatic. Isolde laughed, hysterical, relief pouring out. Caspian joined her, both of them shaking. Leora wailed, confused by all the emotion. Hush, little one, Isolde soothed. You're safe now. She looked up at Caspian. We're all safe. He climbed onto the bed, wrapped his arms around them both. His family, intact, whole, alive. 6 months passed. Ravencroft Tower transformed, no longer a place of judgment, now a sanctuary. 12 refugees sheltered within its walls. Healers, herbalists, those accused wrongly, people who needed safety. Caspian still served as Inquisitor, officially, but his case has changed. He freed the innocent, swiftly, publicly, punished true criminals, harshly, fairly, and quietly, carefully, redirected the accused to safety. A network grew. Other towers, other inquisitors, sympathetic, beginning their own quiet revolutions. Change, slow but real. Aldrich visited monthly, bringing refugees he'd quietly freed. His own reformation. Private, profound. The church is resistant, he admitted over dinner. But I'm senior enough. They tolerate my methods. For now, Caspian said. For now. Aldrich agreed. We work with what we have. He looked at Leora, 6 months old, sitting in Isolde's lap, already making flowers bloom with a touch. She's extraordinary. She's ours, Isolde said, protective. I meant that as a compliment. Aldrich's voice gentle. I've spent 6 months reconsidering everything I believed. He met Caspian's eyes, about magic, about righteousness, about what it means to serve Gui. And Paul, and I think, perhaps, God cares less about power's source and more about how it's used. Progress, from a man who'd burned hundreds. Not redemption, not yet, but a start. Evening, 6 months and 3 days. Isolde stood on the tower balcony, watching the sunset, Leora in her arms, babbling happily. Below, the community worked, gardens being tended, meals being prepared, people laughing, living, safe, because of what she and Caspian had built. Arms wrapped around her from behind. Caspian, resting his chin on her shoulder. What are you thinking about that first night? She leaned into him. When you asked me to tell you everything. And I told you, my magic, my fears, my loneliness. You gave me your heart. And you gave me yours. Leora grabbed at Caspian's hair, pulled. He winced, gently disentangled her fingers. Easy, little one, Papa needs that. Isolde laughed. She's got your strength. And your stubbornness. That's not stubbornness, that's determination. Ah, my mistake. They stood, watching their world, peaceful, safe, home. Do you ever regret it? She asked quietly. Giving up everything for me. I gave up nothing. He turned her to face him. I gained everything. He kissed her, soft, sweet, still electric after all this time. Leora between them, squirming, protesting, being squished. They pulled apart, laughing. She's got opinions, he observed. Of course. She's ours. Below, Fenric called up. Dinner's ready. Coming, Caspian called back. They headed inside. Family. The tower that had been a prison. Now a home. The inquisitor who'd hunted witches, now protecting them. The witch who'd lived in fear, now living in love. And between them, a child, born of magic and mercy, proof that change was possible, that love could conquer fear, that opening your heart, completely, could open doors to freedom. 10 years after that first night, Isolde, 30 now, still beautiful, still powerful. 2 children, Leora, men, Victor, 8, Caspian, 42, silver threading his dark hair, scars on scars, but eyes bright, heart full. The village, 80 people now. Magic and mundane, side by side. Not perfect, never perfect, but better. Aldrich, 70, retired, living in a cottage near the tower, writing, teaching, atoning. One evening, Isolde and Caspian walked the town, hand in hand, as always, watching their children, their community, their legacy. We did it, she said softly. We did it. He agreed around them. Life continued. Children playing, adults working, community thriving, built on truth, trust, love, on the choice to see past fear, to embrace what matters. Above, stars emerging, one by one, lighting the darkness, the way they lit each other's darkness, that first terrifying, beautiful, transformative night.